All right. So what I wanted to say is for this week assignment, I I recorded videos where I did basically the assignment for you. For query by example, I provided to you a new or a simpler way how you can answer the queries using the GUI, which is basically by going to create and query design and then select the tables from here and then the fields that you're interested in and limit the things from here. So rather than using the SQL, you can use the query by example. So that's one thing.
Awesome.
And then for Tableau, and I don't mind honestly if you use query by example or query or SQL. The same thing applies for your project, the final project. So you can use either way that you feel comfortable with. So some of you, since you have been working with SQL, you might be more comfortable with SQL right now, but it's up to you again. So another question that you might ask about getting started with Tableau, I have provided to you this zip folder, and I also provided to you an introduction to Tableau here, how to get started with Tableau and its autonomy or anatomy. And then I provided to you for the homework. This is actually the file for the homework. We don't have an Excel file for it because the data is already embedded here. So we already have the data set here. So you can basically click on, let's say, let me double click on country. So you basically you have the data here. And I already recorded for you how to go through all the steps. So just make sure that you unzip the folder because now it is read only. You will be working on it, and then you will notice that at the end you can't save it or it doesn't save. So just to avoid having problems, just unzip that folder or save it to somewhere where you can just drag it to your desktop and then work on it from there. So I recorded all the videos for you here just in case if you missed one step, if you want to follow this and do it by your own using those instructions, that will be fine. But if you decided, if you got stuck with something, you can always go back and look at my answers. So those are the questions here with genera, and they are also provided to you in the sidebar here for here. So basically, and I also mentioned that you can use the arrow. So this is the first question that we will need to go through. There are some differences between what it says here. For example, it says ABC icon. Instead, Tableau upgraded and they used the T sign instead of ABC to refer to text. So those are some minor things that you can keep in mind. So for next week also, next week will be Excel and then we will talk about it. Excel should be straightforward for most of you, but I will record some videos and then I will be happy to answer questions. So now do you have any? Yes.
Yeah. Yes, sir. Just to clarify, so for our project 3, we have the week 3 database access database like we've been doing, and then we also have the Tableau assignment that's just above, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
So the Microsoft Access, we have the data set here, and then the query questions here, similar to what we did. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
Perfect. So that's the schema. This only 9 questions this time because they require actually connecting or joining more than sometimes 3 or 4, sometimes 6 tables. So, but the GUI might make it simpler.
And to your point, we can use the design method that you showed that you're showing us in the example videos, or we can use the SQL if we've already gotten comfortable with that, correct?
Correct. Yes, because if we run a query, let's say using query by design, this is how it will look like to some extent somehow. And then you can just go to SQL, copy it, and paste it to the Word document that might be needed.
Oh, yes. So that was the other question. I've just been turning in the database as I'm writing the SQL and coming up with the queries. I was just turning in the database, but this week you're asking for the Word document as well and them to be zipped together, correct?
Yes, even for last week, that's what I asked for. But if you haven't
Okay.
done it, fine. Just get back to Tanya. I think she will
Okay.
not, but it makes it easier for her when she's grading. So that's kind of the main purpose why I asked
Okay.
for. But either one will work. I mean, the access was the one that was requested. But if you submit both that way, if she look at your code and then she wanted to verify, make sure that it runs, so she can go back to your access and run it there to give you points.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. So any other questions? I think you are the only one here.
Oh, is that right? Everybody jumped out? That's right. It's just you and I, looks like.
Yeah. So if you have any questions, I can answer
Um,
them. Huh?
so so far I'm good, doctor. Thank you so much for doing this. Yeah, weeks 1 and 2 were a little bit of a struggle. I had some familiarity with Access, but it had just been so long, and so I appreciate it. I just had a really crazy last couple of days, but for next Monday's call, I'll be definitely more prepared with some more specific questions. But I'm just now getting to the project part of our assignment for the week.
No, sounds good. Perfect. All right, then, since no one else has questions, maybe I will stop it and then I will stop it here and then I will send a link to Joshua, ask for a link. So,
Okay.
all right. So it's
Great.
great talking to you and I will talk to you next week if you have any questions. As I said, it's optional, but if you have any questions, it is easier to ask it here. That way I can show up my screen or log into your screen and so on.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much, and likewise, have a good rest of your evening.
Thank you, you too. Bye.